Hello and welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I am Owen James, and this is your latest Rangers news. Actually, guys, I wasn't planning on doing a video today. I was actually planning on taking today off. Planning on actually just having a day away from it, to be honest with you. It's all been getting to me a little bit just recently. The pressure of doing the channel every day, the constant abuse. It's all been getting to me, being called volatile by somebody the other day on a stream, being called toxic by someone else, being called a hate figure, being called a lot of horrible, nasty names, pretty much likened to Adolf Hitler by some, I think, which is pretty much out of order. I don't hate the word toxic, to be honest with you. Toxic is a word that I think teenage girls use. So I think if you're using that word, I think you're behaving like a teenage girl. So grow the fuck up. Anyway, interesting news brought out last night. It was a Rangers review that broke this last night, and I was just about to go to bed because I got an early start today, 6 a.m. start at work. Then I read this incredible comment. It was from former Rangers chairman Dave King. Now, obviously, Dave King came out the other day, spoke about what was going on, to some extent slammed the manager and the director of recruitment over the recruitment of certain players, and I think the lack of what he would call quality recruitment to the squad. Defended Captain James Tavernier from the abuse. Also at that point defended John Bennett. At that point, no sort of clue as to what was about to happen at Rangers. The fact that John Bennett was about to stand down for health reasons. Dave King spoke of the fact that John Bennett had been working tirelessly, hadn't he, to become, to try and get Rangers back on track, and it seemed that everything that he was doing just was not working out. Obviously, the stadium debacle, the rebuild that had gone wrong, the appalling start to the season, just bad decision after bad decision. It seemed. King obviously, stood down. Dave King, obviously, who's been involved with Rangers since the year 2000. Obviously, he became a non-executive director in March 2000. When he invested 20 million of his own personal wealth into Murray Sports Limited. He was also part of the 2012 takeover, and really did, build Rangers back up again. In 2015, he acquired 15% of the shares in Rangers. And he's still the dominant shareholder, isn't he, in the football club? He's still someone who has a saying in the background. I think, does still talk, about the club and does have a say on the club's board. He was part of that extraordinary general meeting in 2015. And, we know the history of Dave King. We all know what Dave King did for the club. He obviously, disappeared, then obviously left. He was responsible for obviously bringing Steven Gerrard to the club. And a lot of fans have harked back to Dave King's time at the club and kind of talked about bringing Dave King back to the club and a real desire to get him back. I mean, some people obviously, after those comments he made the other day, have kind of turned against him a little bit. But overall, the influence of Dave King, I think, has been seen as a positive one on Rangers. Someone who, has a track record from the past of getting things right, of putting people in places to make good decisions, of bringing in good quality managers, of helping to bring in good quality players to get this club back on its feet. Now, obviously, as we know, John Bennett has stood down. John Gilligan has stepped up, 72-year-old, on a limited basis, on an interim basis, until someone has obviously, comes in and takes over. Now, Dave King has said he would be willing to return as Rangers chairman. Now, there's obviously difficulties to come with that. Can he get past the board? He's only got a 15% stake. It's all, up in the ether. But he said that, he'd come in, he'd stabilize it, he'd get the right people in the right place, he'd get the club working properly, and he'd at least give the club direction. So it's clear that King feels at this moment in time that, Rangers aren't, in the right place. The club is kind of in flux at the moment and not in a good position in terms of financially, in terms of playing squad, in terms of on and off the field, in terms of decisions that have been made. I think he's feeling that as well. People aren't in the right place. We have no CEO, no director of the academy, no director of no sporting director. We don't have a direction. We are pretty much floundering around at this moment in time. And I think, with all respect to John Bennett, who's obviously put a lot of his own money into the club, I think Dave King, sees the club as really lacking a direction at this moment in time. Now, King has said that he would be only willing to stay for 2 years. And in that 2 years, he'd want to get the club back to a winning position, back to the top of the game, have the club working correctly, come in, overhaul it, put it back, everything back in place, get it back working correctly. Now, personally speaking, I think this is a good thing. You look at his past history, his track record with the club. I think this can only be good for the club. Someone who's going to come in, he's someone who has obviously an interest in the club. He owns 15% of the share. He has dominant shareholding. He is obviously interested in getting the club to make money, in getting the club to be successful, getting the club to be back at the top of the game. It will do good for his investment. He's talked as well about the possibility of bringing investors into the club, bringing outside investment into the club. And the fact, I think, as well, that in 2 years' time, if he can get the club back to where it belongs, back at the top of the Scottish game, back, competing in Europe, back on a good financial footing where we are making money, we are able to, to get the trading model up and running, we are able to sign players, we're able to obviously have a manager that wins trophies, winning trophies, competing in Europe. That would therefore make the club even more attractive, so that if he did in 2 years want to obviously get rid of his shares, he's going to get a higher price for them. He's going to get a better price for them. So that's what he's going to want. He's going to put the club on a more firmer footing. It seems that he has a desire now to come back, to put this club right, to get the club back to where it belongs. And I think for me, that's a positive. If we've got someone who actually wants to be here, that has got a track record, and this is the thing I think that gets lost. You need people with that track record. Dave King has a good track record. He's a good man, as someone I think who can come in and make a difference. I know not everybody will agree on this. Some people don't like him. I've read that in the comments. But for me, if he's going to come in, he's going to put in place, an executive management group under a new CEO who's going to get this club moving forward, give the CEO the independence to make decisions to move this club forward, give the CEO the chance to really push this club on, get a director of the academy, get a sporting director, put the funds in place, bring in new investment. These are all the things this club needs, and needs so badly. So for me, bringing Dave King back would be a great move. Obviously, board have got to agree it. He's only got a 15% share. I'm not quite sure how the voting rights work. I'm not au fait with all that side of things. It's not my thing. I don't look into it. I don't read lots about it because I'm not really interested in it. But, at the end of the day, if we can get him back on, him as chairman for 2 years, to me, sounds like a really good plan to put this club back where it should be, back at the top of the Scottish game. Someone with genuine ambition, genuine drive, genuine passion. We've seen that in his comments just recently. Let's get this done. Let's get this right. Let's get this club moving forward, and let's get Dave King back as the chairman of Rangers Football Club. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Just a shorter video today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please drop me a comment. Please drop a like. Please hit the sub. Help the channel to keep on growing. Thanks for watching. And as always, remember, we are the people.